Yo YouTube, it's your boy again. We're still out here grinding, we're still adding features, we're still trying to get that Lambo money. And so today I'll show you the newest features of Nastran.VR. Alright, we're loaded in. And what's the first thing we see? Rigid body elements. So support for the RBEs, RBE2s and RBE3s is now official. So we got support for that. And what is usually the first thing we do when we load up a model with a ton of RBs? Well, we turn it off. So I'm going to turn that off, and I have two options. I have turn off all RBE2s and RBE3s. By the way, this menu is a little bit reworked. Or we can just turn off the wagon wheels, and I'll show you what that is later. If we take a look over here, sometimes it's nice to still see kind of the other RBEs that you have here that are not too wild, but you don't necessarily want to see the big wagon wheels. So that's where this threshold slider is here. It's set by default to 15 nodes, but let's say if you set it to 10, that should disappear, right? So you can set your threshold for like these big unwieldy wagon wheels that you want to hide. All right. Next, what do we see here? We've got coordinate systems. Support for Coord 2Rs. And if I get close, look at that. Shows you the label. Shows you a nice crispy label. What we're here shows you a nice crispy label. And so we've got the coordinate systems support. And the way to tell the orientation here is red, green, blue, or any color combination. We typically think of RGB. So RGB is XYZ, easy to remember. RGB goes together, XYZ. So red is X, green is Y, and blue is Z. These little spheres that you see here, these are C bushes. So we added support for C bushes, bush elements. So now wherever you see the little dots here, those spherical dots, those are C bushes. Next, another cool feature. So I've added this cursor extender, right? So by default it's off and it's like right here. Now we can extend that all the way to about 0.5 meters, which is kind of where it stops being useful. So I like to go about 0.2 meters. Kind of gives you a longer hands kind of reach. All right, next exciting feature here is, look at this. Now we're actually parsing element data. And not only that, but if you look at here, for example, what's that showing? At 1/2 inch thick, right? So that's parsing the shell element here, and it's actually giving you the correct size here, right? So it's model sized. So if we go look at it again here, these crosshairs, by the way, are 1 inch tip to tip. So it's about 1/2 inch. Kind of hard to see, but that's about correct. What do we have for this one? We got about 1 inch here on it, and yeah, that's about 1 inch. Awesome. Next, what do we got here? We were talking about the push-pull feature last time, so let me show you how that works again and the new additions. So you see now we have this bounding box. This bounding box, maybe I can switch it to something like that. That is showing you the XYZ, and this is actually showing you the pulls, dx, dy, dz, and pull distance. And if you want, you can try and line it up, right? You can try and be careful and sort of line that up. And let's see how close I got. 559.9. What it should be is 560, right? So we can undo that, and we can still drag with our normal methods. Let me actually get a little closer here. We can actually grab the element, grab the node. Now you see no matter where I move this, it just still remains planar. So that's cool. And then the same thing for the bars. If we grab the bar, grab the node, that stays axial no matter where we go. And we let go, and that should stay at exactly 560. Perfect. All right, next feature. Whoa, what do we see here? Yes, of course. It is geometry, IGES imports. Look at this, look at that, so awesome. So now we have two options here. We can either do toggle on off, we can do wireframe, and then there's also a culling distance as well. So depends on how far away you are, it can appear or disappear. We can increase that. This is mostly a performance issue, so we can call that if we want. And once again, the same thing. Now if you have geometry overlaid, this becomes really easy. All you do is this, grab the node, boom, next, grab the node, boom, pull it, next, grab the node, pull it, and look at that. And then you can just continue on. So we'll hide that. We can see with the node sizes that we've modified these nodes. These are now modified. And now we actually have an option to export all of this stuff. So we got 5 nodes that are ready to export that we've modified. All right, so that's the new features. We're actually parsing data. You can see that here now. We got the element ID, areas, inertias. We're parsing data for shells, and it's displaying real-time thickness, actual model thickness, and actual model areas. We still have the opacity variance. Now they're actually in a nice visuals menu here. We still have our favorite shrink fem mode, aka the Crystal Palace. So that looks really sick. And we've got support for RBEs, coordinate systems, Chord 2Rs and Chord 1Rs, RBEs, did I say that already? And C-bushes. And of course the geometry import for IGES files. So yeah, this is another update to the Nastran.VR, and this is how it will change your life. This is really some ready engineer one stuff here, you know. All right, it's your boy. Until next time.